Hello, this is the Provoked Prawn, and this is the Mad Catz R.a.t 6 Plus. This is a bonkers looking mouse from Mad Catz, and one of the latest mice available from the company. And this is an unboxing video to talk to you about the mouse, what it's like, what you get in the box, and what it's like to use. I've been using this for a couple of weeks, so I'll be able to tell you about all the different features that I love about it, and the things that I'm not too sure about. Now, the Mad Catz R.a.t 6 Plus has a number of different highlights to it that include, as you'll see, 11 programmable buttons, up to 12,000 DPI, that's switchable by a little DPI button on top, profile switching, 2 scroll wheels, which is pretty nuts, a adjustable weight system, a side thumb rest, and the ability to expand and contract it in length, which means that you can use it if you have larger hands and if you want to change between the sizes depending on what grip you prefer. So it basically can be used for people that like palm, claw and fingertip grips, and easily adjusted to fit your needs and customized in that way, which is pretty nifty. As you can see from the box itself, it also is available in white or black, and this is the black version. Obviously the white one looks pretty nifty though from what I've seen on the box, and I'd like to get my hands on that to be able to compare the two. I have found this mouse a bit of a mixed bag, I'll be honest. When I first got out of the box I felt a bit cheap, and you might see some of that coming across as I go through the video. Some of the elements of it feel very lightweight plastic and like they might break. However, obviously big thing with gaming mice is keeping them lightweight as possible, and so they perform better in FPS games, and so shedding that weight sometimes makes these mice feel a bit weak and flimsy, but it might not be, it might hold up over time. I just felt like as a bit of a clumsy buffoon, it might be a problem. Inside the box you get some nice Mad Catz stickers, as well as a quick start guide that tells you how to adjust the weight system and the size, as well as giving you a breakdown with all the different buttons as well. On the side you can see it has a nice thumb rest, as well as what is essentially a sniper low profile DPI button, as well as 2 recessed thumb buttons and that side scroll wheel which can be scrolled in either direction. On top you have the DPI switching button along with the standard mouse wheel and a profile switching button, and then you can see the sizing guide on the rear, and that little wheel at the back there, that is for adjusting the weights system that you'll see a bit later on. You can unscrew the weights and drop some of the weights off and set it the way you want it to. It's a pretty nifty looking mouse, really aggressive, certainly different in terms of styling. Here you can see a close-up of that scroll wheel I was saying. Really nice that you can customize all the buttons within the software to basically be whatever you want, whether you're programming macros, specific button presses, actions within Windows. For example, they can be programmed to be the save button or an open button or anything you like. There's also several RGB zones on this mouse, so it basically tries to tick all the different boxes while remaining reasonably affordable. It'll cost you around £80, $80, which isn't terribly expensive, but not necessarily cheap either. It is fairly nice to use. I have had a few niggles with it, I'll be honest. The recessed thumb buttons on the side for me are a bit too recessed, and I found them a bit fiddly to press. At times I couldn't work out where they were and press them easily. Other times I was accidentally pressing them. It really takes some time to get adjusted to them. I feel like other mice, they stick out a bit more, they're a bit easier to access, a bit easier to feel where they are. This one they're a bit too recessed. However, the fact that you can adjust them easily within the software, and things like the scroll wheel and all the other buttons as well, means you can really customize it and set it up the way you want it relatively easily. As you'll see, it also has a braided USB cable, which is a big deal for me, and a nice little addition to the mouse itself too. Another problem I'm going to note now quickly before I go in any further to this review is that I had some issues with it on my PC. Very odd, strange issues where every now and then the cursor would stop moving, it would just cut out and it wouldn't work. And I can't work out why, because it had the latest drivers and it was updated, and I tried different USB ports and all sorts of things, but I still had issues with it. However, using it on a laptop that I had, it worked fine, so I'm wondering if there was some sort of driver problem where drivers from this mouse were perhaps conflicting with other mice I've tested. So you might not have that problem, but I think it's worth noting that there was an issue with it that I've not had with any of the other mice I've tested. Here you can see the weight removal system. You see I've just taken them off and put them back on again. You get 3 weights inside that you can adjust. So you can customize that weighting the way you want it. All the information you need and specs will be included in the description, as well as links to buy and links to find the main page, so you can find out more information if you want to, anything that I might have missed in the video. But you can see it is very nifty in the way it's designed, very stylish. On the underside it's like pure metal goodness, and then on top you have a little button on the side that you can see that you can just adjust. Now this is done in like rungs, so if you pull it too far it will come all the way off, and if you press that button in when you're pushing it back, you can feel it clicking into the next rung along that sort of ladder of adjustment. You can see it just comes off all the way there. But you can make it quite long, quite comparably long to other mice, and that is really nice, I think, in my bag, because when you're buying a mouse, I often find that they're either too big or too small, and there's no middle ground. With this one you have a good set of options for it, so you're not risking buying a mouse and end up being disappointed because it's the wrong size, because you can always adjust this one, and you're unlikely to find that it's either too small or too big, because you can always extend it and retract it to fit your needs. Fairly satisfying button clicks, although you will note there is no side to side click on the mouse wheel. However, the fact that you do have an extra mouse wheel that you can customize, and the scroll wheel is pretty nifty and very unusual, and you can customize all of that within the software. And there's 11 buttons in total, which is a nuts amount of buttons to have. And then obviously you have the DPI switching buttons as well, and the ability to set up profiles. So you can see there's a profile button, you can set that up in the software. Unfortunately I wasn't able to capture any video from the software, but it is fairly straightforward to use, and within it you can do things like set specific key presses, favorites, adjust custom macros, and all sorts of things like that. You can also go through the RGB lighting that you'll see a bit later on, which comes with various different effects, and you have several different zones that include that R.a.t. 6+ logo on the top, the sort of hexagons on the side of the thumb rest, and the DPI switching button as well. You can customize all of those too. Now if you want to see this mouse coming out of the box without me waffling over the top, check out my ASMR unboxing channel, where I did a bit of a longer video with all the sounds without me talking, so you can hear what the mouse sounds like, all the click sounds and everything else, and just enjoy that goodness. But here I wanted to give you a bit more in-depth view of what it's like. Now, as I said, I have had some issues with the cursor not working occasionally, very sporadic. Sometimes it felt like it was working 95% of the time, then it would suddenly stop in the middle of a game. Not had that issue on a laptop though, I'm testing, so I do think it might be a driver conflicting issue. Underneath you could see it's got this kind of metal finish to it. Most of it feels very plastic, but then there's like metal base, and smooth with the PTFE feet as well, and it results in a pretty good glide across the desk. I've not had any problems with the way it reacts to movement and things. The sizing, the weighting, and all those different options make it really nice. Unusual styling is obviously a big standout for this mouse, and it is fantastic too. Now here you can see it plugged in, you'll see the RGB lighting that I was talking about. You'll note on the left hand side those little red indicators, those basically show you what level of DPI you're on, and you've got an up and down button next to the mouse wheel you can press and go up and down between the levels that you've set. Pretty standard affair. You can customize the RGB lighting in the software too, and choose from a number of different effects as well as various different colors too. It's not over the top in terms of RGB lighting, it's kind of understated, not terribly amazing, but that isn't necessarily why you're buying this mouse anyway, or considering buying this mouse. You want something that's flexible, feature rich, but doesn't cost the earth, and I think that's one of the highlights to it, is that it has a very good feature set, very good specifications for the money, comfortable adjustable weight system, and a nice look and feel to it. Generally speaking, I would recommend considering this mouse if you're not too sure of the sort of size of the mouse that you need and you're worried you might end up with a small one. This is a very flexible mouse that will fit your needs no matter what grip style you choose. Hope you found this video useful. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions. Thanks for watching. This has been the Provoked Prawn. Hope you found this video useful, interesting or hilarious. Be sure to subscribe and check out these other videos, as well as taking a look in the description for links and other information you might find useful. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or anything you'd like to see extra about this, and have a great life.